Yes.
And they say you're back in the red.
Back in the red. But all at the same time, it's not just maintaining the red, it's going back and forth like a pendulum swing. Last time I checked a couple of minutes ago, the market was still, that's our local market, was oscillating in between the green and the red.
I wonder who will win at the close of
exactly.
trade today.
And don't forget, it made a springboard movement back into the green on the back of Airtel Africa's gain.
Yeah, I remember last week, Airtel Africa also dropped the market.
Exactly. It's such a heavyweight. It's such a heavyweight stock.
Yes, and that was the one that gave us the surprise. It took us back to 97,000 when we thought we had scaled through that day.
Yeah, and then it was still hanging, back above, back into the 98,000, but still within a thread. Because anything can happen, and it will just go back to the 97,000 points. But at least it's still barely comfortable at that 98,000 on the back of some in between bargain hunting and profit taking. So so far the market is still 0.18% negative, while year to date it's 31.27%. So let's give our viewers all around the world a closer glimpse at what the market is talking about. That's the equities market. For Nigeria's stock market, ending Thursday's trading session in the green, but then here it is at just around the flat line of about 0.08%. And the same thing for the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the JSE Stock Exchange, 0.48%. On Thursday, we had seen banking stocks maintaining the lead in that decline for Nigeria's stock market, as well as some other, all the other counters. 4 out of the 5 counters that we track were in the red. Only the insurance counter was in the green. Now, for the Egyptian Stock Exchange, we see very much in the green for close on Friday, 3.27%. A strong close there for that stock market. While Kenya Stock Exchange on Thursday was very much in the green, 0.19%. And now let's talk about the Naira. Naira is still in the news, not for the good reason, as we can see here, that the local currency is still suffering on the against the dollar. Take a look at the Nigeria Foreign Exchange Markets rate at about 1,533.99 Naira against the dollar. That's as at the close of Thursday's trading session, and that's against the 1,559 Naira 2 kobo, which it closed on Wednesday. But for the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange, which is the spot FX window for the foreign exchange market, or Nigeria's foreign exchange market, it was up by 2.65% at about 1,501 Naira 2 kobo, all from the previous 1,549 Naira 90 kobo against the dollar. For the BDC rate, the Naira weakened to about this level, which you can see on your board there. And at the same time, the customs FX rate, that's a charge for clearing goods at the ports, it has increased all the way from what it was previously at 1,492 Naira against the dollar to 1,530 Naira against the dollar as at Thursday. So we will be looking out for how it closes Friday, closes the week, whether on the weaker side or on the firmer side. We'll be talking to our analysts to give us more details about that. Now, before we bring in our guest, we'll be talking about the fixed income market, which for the treasury bills market, we saw bullish performance there, while for the bonds market, we saw a bit of a muted performance. So now let's bring in Ebube Uneze, who's a fixed income and forex dealer with Access Bank, for more details about the Naira as well as the fixed income market. Thank you for joining us, Ebube.
Thank you for having me, Aniete. How are you today?
Couldn't be better. I'm just I'm chilling with the market. Okay, all right. So now you can see Naira. Well, sometime earlier this week or in the middle week, we saw that the central bank had announced that it had approved in principle 14 IMTOs as international money transfer operators, to play in the market in a bid to boost the foreign exchange inflow into the country. And we've seen this rubbing on the country's foreign exchange reserves. But how is this playing into the currency markets?
Not 19, no. All right, thank you for that question. So we recall that closing last month at the 2024 spring meetings organized by the IMF and World Bank, the governor had mentioned that they were working together with other to boost foreign exchange flow into the country. In light of that, they noted that they were having strong partnerships with the IMTOs to ensure that they double the remittance flows to Nigeria. So we believe that it's on the back of this that the central bank rather gave this approval in principle to these 14 IMTOs. The intention is that you have a lot of entrants in that market such that they would there's a lot of competition which will lead to a reduction in the transaction costs. So once the transaction cost reduces, so that means if our guys in diaspora see that it's now cheaper for them to remit funds through official channels to Nigeria, more people will be encouraged to transfer their funds back to Nigeria. So I think that is the game plan of the central bank, and all this is geared towards ensuring that they boost the foreign exchange flow. So we note that foreign remittances is a key component of our external reserves. This is in addition to foreign direct investments and flows from foreign portfolio investors, as well as the remittances. So the central bank is focusing on this segment, which is a slow but sure and critical segment of foreign flows to ensure that overall the foreign exchange, the external reserve position is boosted to ensure that the Naira against the dollar remains stable.
Okay, so Ebube, so let me ask you this question that first, we'll be expecting by Monday that the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee will begin its 2-day meeting, and that will be the third meeting so far, and the MPR rate has risen from what it was 18.5% to about 24.75%. Now that the inflation has also climbed higher, now do you expect that the Monetary Policy Committee will hike rates, and what impact will this have on the fixed income and the money markets?
Thank you, Anita, for that question. So on Wednesday, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics released the CPI figures for the month of April, and we saw inflation climb to 33.46, which was lower than the expectation of most analysts. A lot of people projected that inflation figures will print at 34%. Even though that there is an increase, we know that on a month-on-month basis, it appears that the inflation rate appears to be decelerating. So I believe this will form part of the information towards the decision of the MPC at the MPC meeting scheduled for Monday and Tuesday. General market consensus is that we should expect another hike, but we believe that it will not be as aggressive as we had seen in the two previous MPC meetings. The governor had earlier on, sometime last week, noted that rates will remain at elevated levels until inflation is brought within the targeted range. Okay. So we still expect a hawkish stance, even though at a less aggressive note.
Okay, Ebube. So I think we'll leave it there so that we can focus on other markets across the world and give an idea to our viewers. But thank you so much for your analysis.
Thank you for having me.